Good day, everyone. My name is Debbie McCollin, and I'm a lecturer in the Department of History at the University of the West Indies, St. Augustine. So in the last few weeks, we've seen the incredible resurrection, the resurgence of a movement, which we're calling, of course, Black Lives Matter, in the United States and in countries around the world. Of course, we're seeing the wave as well touch the Caribbean. This is not a new movement. It has its roots, as we know, in Pan-Africanism of the early 20th century and in the Black Power movement of the mid to late 20th century. It has now sparked, of course, a national conversation in Trinidad and Tobago about our history in relation to colonialism, the legacies of imperialism, and of course the monuments associated with that we see every day. And it's good that we're having this national conversation about monuments. Anything that leads to a discussion about our history, or revisionism in terms of our history, I am fully in support of. But my question is it going to lead to permanent change in how we think and how we operate as a people? And so I question the sustainability of what we're doing now. We want to break down barriers in terms of understanding and in terms of how we evaluate and see our development as people of color in a world that was designed to subjugate and divide us. Is this the movement that is going to do that? What I believe is that if it is married to, if it leads to educational reform that is going to provide us with opportunities for self-evaluation and realization at young ages and as we grow and journey through our lives, then yes, it will succeed. We need to demand, that world history and more importantly Caribbean history be taught as distinct subjects in primary and secondary school, not subsumed into social studies as they have been, or completely displaced by STEM subjects, science, technology, engineering, medicine. These subjects have their value, and we're seeing that with COVID-19 for sure, right? Where would we be without them at this point? But they really are unable to provide what the humanities and what the study of history can provide in terms of critical thinking skills and knowledge that is going to support identity and community building and self-knowledge and the generation of self-respect. This is how we fight crime. This is how we break down the legacies of colonialism, of racism, of discrimination that pervades all structures of our society. I question, when we pull down these monuments, what happens after they get replaced? Will we be satisfied? Will there really be change? It has to come from a deeper place and a more sustained type of movement, and that will only take place through our educational system. So as a Caribbean people, we know that we're ignorant of our history. We lack a sense of and an understanding of the identities, all right, that pervade and that make up the Caribbean and Caribbean and the Caribbean people as a whole. And we're easily swayed by any political rhetoric that sounds plausible because we don't have the education that we need to have at the right levels and in the right places, particularly in terms of our history. So the answer to our problem isn't violence. It's not defacing public property or monuments. But I argue that it is in systematic, deep-rooted, consistent study of our history. So reevaluating our monuments is a start, is the beginning of the discussion. But is it going to really fix the problem? Let us not miss an opportunity for lasting change. History is a living thing. We are living through it right now. When we look back, what are we going to see? That this was a moment when everything shifted for us and our people, or that we lashed out in a moment of frustration? So from primary school to secondary school and beyond, let us advocate for history in its fullness to be taught to our people. That's the only way that we're going to see true and lasting change in Trinidad and Tobago. Be safe.